Hello Mzansi and welcome to African Farming. I'm Aviwe Gxotiwe. For this week's exciting episode, we are in the Eastern Cape, home of my ancestors. Just on the other side of Somerset East is farmer Aviwe Gxotiwe, whose passion for business has helped him grow a successful farming enterprise of sheep and crops. And he has big dreams of expansion. Shall we go meet him? Aviwe Gxotiwe was born and raised in the former Ciskei into a third generation of farmers. But the farming bug didn't bite Aviwe straight away. After a private school education, Aviwe went to study law at the University of the Free State. In his fourth year, he realized that business, however, was his passion and returned home to forge a unique approach to farming through entrepreneurship. Today, he has big dreams of diversification and uses his finely honed business skills to read the agricultural landscape, form valuable partnerships, and build a bright future for his family. Aviwe, you say that your success is because of 3 generations of good decision making. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, well, my grandfather, he was a farm laborer, and he decided that he wanted a better education for his children. So basically, all his savings over 15, 20 years, he decided to chuck all of that in the pot and send his children off to the best schools that he could afford. And that cycle was repeated by my father as well. Yeah. But what was key throughout that is that the family was kept in the agricultural field. So that's what sent us to school, that's what brought us up. So it was a very natural kind of lead into the industry for us.
You don't live on the farm, why is that?
Well, I have a belief that you should try be a little bit distant from the operations of your business. You should rather work on your business and not be involved in the business. And that way you get to see all the finer detail from outside that you would ordinarily miss if you were involved in the business. And that's why we decided to appoint a manager on the farm. So I can play more of a hovering role over all the operations and get to bring in the dimension that you would otherwise not see if you're involved into the day-to-day kind of operations of a business. My family, we're very city-based people. We like the city vibe, the fast trading, the lights. And so in agriculture, I think we've just brought that flavor here. So we decided it's not going to be a fit for us to be on the farm, but rather get a manager and a team to run the farm. We'll be involved as and how we please, but we've chosen to look at other avenues of creating a living and growing the business from outside the farm. So that's how we choose to do it.
Another important person in your life is your farm manager. Tell me more about that relationship.
Yeah, so Bertus has been with us for about 5 years now. He came from the Free State and we appointed him as a manager. And he's been really, really good for our business. He comes with a lot of experience, 55 years of age, been involved in agriculture his whole life.
All right, so you say he's a 55-year-old man, you're a 33-year-old man. Yeah. Do you guys not clash?
No, we enjoy a very, very good relationship. My duty as a young one is to come with the wild ideas, and his duty is to temper that and see how best that can be integrated into our business.
What does your dad think of your success?
Well, I think like any father who's seen a good thing happen, he's very proud. Every father would like to see the next generation be better than the previous generation. But having said that, I know he definitely thinks we can climb to greater heights. He holds us to a high standard, and so he's proud but not satisfied.
But not satisfied?
But not satisfied.
So is he the type of dad who says you can always do more?
Yeah, I think as a family we're very competitive. So we always hold one another to high standards and just don't accept each other being mediocre. So no, he holds us to high standards.
Aviwe, it seems these 2 gentlemen play such a big role in your life and they are incredibly proud of you. So let's go talk to them.
Aviwe is a great man to work for. I enjoy it here on Soutvleij. All of us is like a big family. Although there is a big age difference between me and Aviwe, it's not an important thing for us. I think Aviwe will agree with me. What is more important is respect, and to have respect for each other, and also respect other persons and other persons' views. Sometimes if there is a disagreement, we handle it in an adult way, and the main thing is to communicate about it and look at the pros and cons of everybody's opinion, and then at the end of the day to make a decision that is in the best interest of Soutvleij farming.
I am proud of Aviwe for quite a number of things that he has actually, within a very short space of time, done on the farm. His whole approach of agribusiness, realizing that everything that's happening on the farm has got to create employment, has to create living, and has also may have to be reinvested into the business. Me and Aviwe, we bump heads a lot on the farm in the way his approach. But me coming from the old school, I learn a lot on those. Sometimes it's not actually him being stubborn. Perhaps it's me to allow the change, more especially coming from a young man like Aviwe. At the end of the day, we do agree on quite a number of areas. Aviwe needs to achieve quite a number of other things on the farm, but mainly is to increase the production area and also to bring up productivity, more especially of the workforce. There's quite a number of other things that he needs to do to get to the farm to the level that he's always talking about. That will take finance, it will take training, it will also take him quite some patience.
Three generations of sacrifices and difficult decision-making have led here to Soutvleij and to Aviwe's success. His journey is so inspiring. I can't wait to find out more. Mzansi, you are watching African Farming, and we are in the Eastern Cape this week. Now, I've spoken to a number of farmers so far, and the key thing they keep talking about is the importance of approaching and managing farming as a business. Now, Aviwe knows all about that because he is a businessman at heart. But what are his challenges? Let's ask the man himself. Aviwe, what is the focus of the operations here on Soutvleij?
Yeah, we've got two focuses. The one is livestock production, and the other is crop production, which is lucerne. So on the livestock production, we've got sheep, and we do wool production there and send off our lambs to the meat market. And on the lucerne side, we package our lucerne and send it off to dairy farmers and a few other farmers who want to buy it for the livestock. And what we consider our inferior kind of quality lucerne that's been rained on, that we don't want to send off into the market, that we keep back for our sheep in the winter period when the feed is low, and we feed it to them then.
All right. Now, what type of challenges have you been experiencing here?
Well, there are a number of challenges. I think with any farming practice, weather plays a critical role, and water. So that's the one. The second one's always your access to capital and the management of that capital. So you have to stick to a budget. That's the other one that we experience. And then I think the third one, as we've experienced throughout the country, livestock theft. That becomes quite a big challenge that we have to constantly be on top of managing.
So many farmers complain about this. It's so heartbreaking. It really is. Now, good animal feed is just as important as an integrated health plan. What is your approach to that?
Yeah, well, I think on the animal feed, we're quite fortunate that, as you see, we're standing here, we've got irrigated pastures where we can feed our livestock on, but we also let them run on the veldt. So we're very fortunate that we don't have to buy in a lot of feed. So we supplement here and there with feed just for them to be able to get access to salt lick, selenium, sodium, that kind of thing. But we've got all the feed that we need actually for our livestock here on the farm. And on the health side, we run a very good animal health program where we know that we need to vaccinate them or inoculate them for different diseases throughout the year.
All right, I want to touch on partnerships. You know, for a business to grow and be strong, you do need those good and strong partnerships. Tell us about yours.
Yeah, so we've got a very strong partnership with the agri-corporate, the Humansdorp Co-op. They're quite a big company, and we, together with them, we've put in strong management practices, strong governance structures in the business, where we hold one another accountable to that. And we've got a management flow system that flows under our board of directors. So that's how we keep the management of our business going through our partnerships.
What are the common diseases here and how do you remedy them?
We've got three main ones: Rift Valley fever, blue tongue, and pulpy kidney. At each stages of the year, we know when to inoculate those.
Can you explain to us the different ones?
Yeah, so with pulpy kidney, it's the inflammation of the kidneys of the livestock that you get. And the blue tongue, typically your tongue turns blue and there's an inflammation of that tongue. It prevents them from eating. And obviously that can lead to starvation and eventually death.
Oh my goodness. All right, guys, I'm excited to learn more. Let's go.
Lindy, so this is some of the lucerne that we bale ourselves that I told you about.
All right.
Yeah. So do you want to break off a piece and
Cool.
give to the sheep?
So we're feeding
Yeah,
now.
Just break it off like that.
All right.
That's it.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Okay.
Put on another piece.
Okay, just pile it up.
Yeah. Okay, you can move away a bit and let them come to you. I think they're a bit scared of you. Yeah.
So do you grow this lucerne specifically for your own feed?
Yeah, so we produce it mostly for the market. So the square bales that you see right here, we produce this for mostly emerging farmers and some horse farmers. And the round bales of lucerne that we produce, that's normally for commercial farmers, more specifically the dairy market.
Oh, all right. And you're also a chicory farmer. How did you get into that? How did you start growing it?
Yeah, so chicory came purely as an opportunity for us. Chicory SA and Nestle had a shortage of chicory. And they approached us and asked us, based on the infrastructure that they saw on the farm, they asked us if we could not please produce some for them.
Yeah.
So we went into it then and did very well, but that's how that opportunity came about.
All right. Water is a very important resource on any farm. Where do you get your water from? And also tell me about the pivots.
So we're very fortunate. Just below us at the back here, we've got a river that runs past us. This is known as the Fish River.
Yeah.
So it's permanent water. We don't have a shortage of water at any time of the year. But our irrigation is very expensive because we have to pump from down in the river, and it's an up gradient up onto our lands. So we use the pivot irrigation system, which is more efficient for irrigating. And we just try to attend to the problems that come about. If there's a leakage or there's a break, we try to attend to it as soon as possible.
Diversification is key for growing your business and also for financial growth within the business. Where do you see room for expansion?
Well, we're currently busy with an environmental impact assessment program at the moment, the EIA, where, if approved, it will allow us to double our lands that we are irrigating at the moment. That gives us a couple of more options. We can either scale this business, so the lucerne production and the sheep business, or it allows us to start introducing maybe Angora goats or dairy farming, or establish a high-value crop such as citrus or pecan nuts. So that's what we're looking at the moment. But that process is going to be about a 12 to 18-month cycle before approval.
That sounds exciting.
Yeah, so I mean, it is exciting. Any business needs to thrive, and that thriving comes with growth. So it gives us a lot more options once we start growing as to which industry to pursue, and that will obviously be dictated by the markets.
I can hear your workers right behind us. Busy. Tell me about the relationship that you have with them and how many workers do you have on this farm?
Yeah, so we've got a staff component of about 12 people. Most of these guys were, before we expanded, they were not employed at all. So we've created, say, about 10 jobs. 2 we had previously. We've created 10 new jobs. And we've done a lot of skills development and training with the guys, from machine operating skills to financial skills, conflict resolution management skills. And yeah, I think they're enjoying themselves, and we continuously look for opportunity to grow them as people as well.
Nice. I think you should hire me to be the one who feeds. I think I'm enjoying this job more.
Lindy, I think you're perfect for it. Go on, break another one and feed them.
Because I'm doing it so well, aren't I?
This experience certainly fueled my passion to farm one day, and the vision of these farmers is simply inspiring.
What type of legacy would you like to leave for your family? I'll start with you, Dad.
I think I would like to leave a family that would be farming in generations to come.
Nice. How about you, Aviwe?
Well, I think it's the same legacy that was left for me, allowing me to be on an equal footing with everyone, and I'd like to do the same for my family and for Africa at large, that Africa actually takes its rightful place under the sun.
Nice. Here's to you guys.
Cheers.
Cheers. Every farmer has a vision of the type of life they want to create for their family and the legacy they want to leave behind. Aviwe's vision is to build a dynamic farming business centered around technology, innovation, and partnerships. When we return, our guest in studio will give us advice on how to turn our farming dream into reality. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, Mzansi, to African farming. Second-generation farmer Aviwe Gxotiwe is bringing his formidable business sense and his entrepreneurial drive to his farming operation, thereby maximizing opportunities for growth. So many of us could use a little advice to grow our own farming enterprises. And here on African Farming, we get by with a little help from our friends. Our panel of experts is standing by with encouragement and advice. Welcome, gentlemen and lady.
Thank you.
Hi.
Joining me in studio, we have Praveen Dwarika from Le Mans,
Thank you for having me.
Lisa Marie de Klerk from Vlees Centraal. Hi. Dr. Taps Tapelo Makai from Elanco.
Hey, Lindsey.
Hey,
I'm
hey.
back yonder.
It's good to
Looking
see
lovely.
you.
Looking
Thank
fabulous.
you so much.
Awesome.
And of course, Francois van der Vever from Voermol.
Thank you very much.
It's good to see you all. Thank you for making the time. To Aviwe and his family, a good education is regarded as critically important, but it never stops, does it? Now, Praveen, what is the importance of formal and informal training?
Let's never underestimate the importance of both. In South Africa, we're starting to have the trend of more vocational type training, and that includes a lot of classroom activities, but a lot of practical training. And together with that is mentorship, of course, because what you want to do is you want to learn from experts in the industry. So whilst you may have good academic grounding, learning from experts, that's where the secret is. And we strongly encourage farmers to do that. And we're so glad to see farmers like Aviwe doing exactly that.
Now, Dr. Tubbs, let's talk about the risks and diseases for sheep farmers, because we know that farming can be so unpredictable no matter what you do. So what is the importance of like having a solid health plan?
So I think let's talk to the emerging farmers out there and make them aware that every region has its own, a disease profile. One region is not the same to the other. And what they need to remember is that, one big disease that actually can be vaccinated for, and I think Francois will back me up on this, is puppy kidney. Now, how this develops is when, they change feed suddenly. You get animals from the field, in extensive setup, and then you breed them in intensive, and you suddenly change feed. That is actually deadly for your animals, for sheep. But there are other things. We speak a lot about deworming program, looking at hookworms and different type of worms that farmers need to deworm against. And one way that we can check for that is looking at the eyes, the membranes of the eyes. And that whole program is called FAMACHA.
FAMACHA.
Yeah. So essentially what FAMACHA is a program where farmers can actually detect if there are any internal parasites, worm burden, in their small stock. Now, this program was essentially developed by Dr. Fafa Malan, where he trains, farmers, emerging, commercial, even veterinarians on how to actually examine the animals if they've got a worm burden and then treat for those worms and, applying dosages for worms.
All right. Now, Francois, having a feeding plan is just as important as having a health plan. What are the seasonal considerations?
So the second part, the seasonal consideration, I think we must remember with sheep, they are seasonal breeders. So in short, it means that they, at their highest fertility in autumn, that period when the day lengths are getting shorter. So most fertile at that point. We can overcome it by using teaser rams or synchronization. And when we talk about a feeding program for our sheep, we need to plan it around the major occurrences in that sheep's life throughout the year. So I'm thinking about the breeding season. If we know the breeding season, we can determine when the lambing season will be, we can determine when the weaning season will be. And then each one of those periods has a specific nutritional requirement on the animals. And we then, in a previous episode, we referred to complementary supplementation. So we then look at the complementary supplementation to meet those nutrient requirements, and we work our supplementation according to what the veld can provide us already.
Lisa Marie, access to market for farmers is quite important, but it can be very difficult as well. And auctions become such a perfect platform for them. What are your thoughts on selection and improvement?
Each farmer, any farmer, the moment they start farming with animals, they've got a product, and that product is the animals that they need to take to market. So at the end of the day, the better your product, the more profit you will make on your animals. And the best process is selection. So you need to go and you need to select the correct type of bull or heifer or ram or whatever the case may be to push your production to the utmost. So we at auctions, we provide an easy access platform for the farmers to get access to good genetics and good stock to improve their herds.
All right. Now let's get more advice from you guys as we wrap up, or even just a comment. Lisa Marie, what type of tips would you have for up-and-coming farmers on just picking that good bull?
Recognize where your shortcomings are. If you go through your kraal and you say, you know what, I need a little bit more beef on my animals, or I need a bit more production on my wool, or and you go select an animal for that specific purpose. If you are unsure, go to an agent, go to somebody in place and roles, an expert in the vicinity, and ask them, you know what is your advice? What tips can you give me? And most farmers, you know, they're open for discussion. They will go and say, fine, we'll help you.
All right, let's get some final thoughts, please, Praveen.
Just to pick up on what Lisa Marie just said about having conversations, and I think that's what education is about. It's never just about reading a book. It's about having those conversations out there, picking up tips from the professionals in the feeds. The key opinion leaders have a lot that they have to share with our emerging farmers, and let's use that opportunity.
That's true, and I found that a lot of the farmers are willing to also share information.
No question about it.
Thapelo.
Yeah, so for me, I would like to also pick up on what Praveen has said, but tackle it by saying you need to expand your networks. Your networks is where you find information. So don't be afraid to knock on those doors and speak to agents or speak to whoever is close by who will be able to guide you step by step.
Francois, would you like to pick up on what Thapelo's just said?
Well, maybe a little bit a different approach. I think what we need to also pick up is on the genetics of an animal. We must remember that Lisa Marie referred to, we're selecting for that top animals, but how do they achieve a real genetical potential? And that's by doing proper nutrition management to those animals. So we need to feed them and we need to treat their environment so that they reach their genetic potential.
To our guests, thank you so much for sharing information with myself and the viewers at home. I am so grateful for these opportunities to learn from other farmers. And of course, thank you to farmer Aviwe Gxotiwe for the time we have spent on his farm. And Mzansi, we would love to hear from you. Don't forget that you can engage with us on our social media platforms via #AfricanFarming, or you can visit our website, africanfarming.com. I'll see you again next time. And do remember, we farm better together.